Okay, so we finished. That was the last chapter of the book, and I know for a fact that I'm going to have some very disappointed people because we don't have a 100% clear ending. So chapter 66 takes us, I'm not even sure how far into the future, but definitely at least a couple months based on everybody's behavior. And Lavon is focusing on what she can remember from spending time with Jolly. Now, this whole book is written from Lavon's point of view, so we know that she remembered everything she wrote. What she keeps talking about is sometimes the most real thing I remember. I'm not memorized. I got my book. So she was saying, what's the most real thing I remember from that time? And she's kind of going through different real experiences. And I think that that brings us the idea of what is real. What is the moments that we see the real person? What are the moments that we see the real Jolly, the real Lavon, and not the fronts that we put on for other people, which then brings us back to ourselves. When do we see our real selves versus the selves that we present to the world the way that we want to be seen? So she picks these scenes of them laughing when they were talking about the Vaseline, of her in the bathtub with Jilly, and they're kind of making soap designs over each other's faces, of the moment that Jolly saved her child, and Jeremy putting in the number on the phone. So it's these moments that are more real than we get to see in everyday life, especially from somebody like Jolly, who is extremely protective of herself, right? This is somebody who doesn't want anyone to see the real her, that puts on a facade when she goes out. So what are the most real moments? And yet, Lavon says that the most real moment to her, the thing that comes back into her memory the most, is watching her mother spin Jeremy around the kitchen. And I would argue that that shows that Lavon is going back to, what did she feel? How does this relate to her? How does it relate to her life? How the way that she sees those people around her, and the way that she sees her mother spinning this child and telling him that he did something wonderful, right? Now we have debate over whether Lavon's mom has any faith in Jolly, whether she has any belief that Jolly is going to go anywhere, that she thinks that Jolly, quote, took hold or not. And yet in that moment that she's holding Jeremy, she's holding him up, she's holding him off the ground, she's telling him how great he was, how proud of him she was, how he was a hero too. And that becomes this, quote, real moment. This is the moment that we can see that maybe things do change. He's lifted up off the ground, he's spinning, he's being held up, right? And then we go into kind of her discontent with what she can see of Jolly now. She says she runs into Jolly in B hallway. And she talks about them. I see Jolly sometimes in hallway. She's counting down the credits to get finished with school. She hasn't, got too many left to go. So she still sees Jolly, so we know Jolly's still going to school. Why she doesn't want to associate with Lavon kind of becomes the iffier situation. Lavon is 4 years younger than her. So if we're looking at a high school, we probably don't associate with people 3 to 4 years younger than us all that often, especially when we're in a big school. We're in a slightly different situation ourselves with the small building that we're in. But it then comes down to, is there another reason besides just age that they don't want to see each other? And what Lavon points out is that maybe Jolly doesn't want to see her because she is somebody who knows the bad things that happen. She is somebody who saw Jolly in her worst state. And maybe we don't want to bring the people with us who saw us in our worst, and that we want to be reintroduced to the world at our best. And the people that knew us at our worst, we don't know if we want to see them around because they remind us of how things were. Now then they give us this little ending with, one time Jolly in B hallway poked me very obvious. That look of the lights going on in her eyes for a minute. Hey, you wouldn't guess what come up out of that dirt. She poked me. And Lavon's like, oh, I was just so excited to hear from her. I totally forgot what she was talking about. And then what we see is it was that little lemon tree. After all this time, that little lemon tree sprouts. Which brings us to a couple different points. If they're not seeing each other, how come Jolly was still watering and taking care of the lemon tree? Is it something about Jeremy, or is it something about Lavon, or something about her future that she wants to keep hold of? she kind of tells her, oh, we got that little green thing, a little lemon coming up, bye. And she went on down B hallway. That's the last thing that we end with. We end with this vision of that Jeremy's lemon tree gets to grow. And I would argue that it's Jeremy's lemon tree. It's not Lavon's lemon tree. It's not Jolly's lemon tree. It's Jeremy's lemon tree. As much as we get to see Jolly's life change, and we do, we see Jolly's life change quite a bit, and we can see it going on this upward trajectory, right? We can see that things are going to get better. It could be argued that it's Jeremy's life that's going to change the most by having a mother that can do these things, that can be a good role model for him, that can have a job, that can send him to school, that can help him with his homework, all those things she probably could not have done before. She says she wonders how it would be for Jeremy in another time, if his clothes matched, if he had new clothes, if he had a dad, if everything went together. And I would say at this point, Jeremy's got his lemon tree. He's got his hope. And I don't think we can look at what things would have been before. I think we have to look at what we got now and how much farther we've gotten than we thought maybe we would have, or than Jeremy thought his life would have if Jeremy wasn't 2 years old. But I think you know what I mean. And I'm going to leave it there and leave us there for you to kind of let me know what you're thinking. And then we're going to start talking about central ideas, which I know is not everyone's favorite topic to have, but we got to do it. Hope everyone is doing well and is safe and healthy. If you need anything, you can always let me know. Thank you.